Hi, Nadia. I'm Tatiana.
Hi, Tatiana.
Welcome to the range.
Well, thank you.
So I understand this is your first trip out here, and there's a lot we got to cover.
Okay.
But the first thing we always cover is range safety and etiquette. And it's kind of two halves of the same story, but if I tell you only one half of it, there's a lot of pitfalls that new folks have that you just don't need. So the things I wish someone would have told me once, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So let's start with the firearm itself.
Okay.
There's 4 big rules, and we kind of add a 5th one to it. So if we think about them in sequence, the first rule is always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction.
Okay.
That requires you to look around. And if we're at the range right now and downrange is that way, it might look like a big mountain of dirt. Might look, if you're an indoor range, like a big steel dragon's mouth. That's your bullet trap, right? That's where the round is supposed to land. But we got to take it down a notch.
Yeah.
It's actually a little smaller than that.
Okay.
So your safe direction is keeping the gun oriented towards your designated target.
Okay.
So while you have a mountain of dirt, that target might just be 2 feet by, 18 inches or something. So keep your world specific. And observing and deciding where that safe direction is, even before you touch the gun, is the first step. So pay attention to your environment. Rule number 1, always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction.
Safe direction. Got it.
The second rule is about your physical interaction with the gun itself, what your little digits are doing.
Okay.
And they're cute, aren't they?
They're
we
so
have
cute,
nice
yeah.
nails and all that stuff. Right. But the problem with them is that this adorable little bugger right here is sweet, but it's dumb as a box of rocks. Right. So the second rule is scripted as always keep your finger off of the trigger until your sights are on the target and you've made a decision to shoot. So, because our bodies naturally grasp and clasp like this, and we normally pick things up with these 3 fingers, your thumb, your pointer, and your middle finger, many new people approach the firearm and they claw it into their hands, allowing this little finger to act as part of a hole, which naturally puts it inside the trigger guard. That is one of the biggest, most dangerous things we can do with the firearm, is prematurely, preemptively, or being unaware of what our finger is doing in relationship to the trigger.
Okay.
When we take the next step and we start working with unpacking the firearm and doing dry fire, we're going to give this little cutie pie a job 100% of the time, so it doesn't get squirrely and freelance on you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of important. The third rule is now about the relationship of ammunition to the equation that we're building here. When do we introduce ammunition? Why? How we do it? So the third rule, always keep the gun unloaded until you are ready to shoot.
Okay.
What happens? People show up at the range, they unpack their range bag, and the first thing they do is load the gun hot, and they put it on the bench, and they walk away and do other things.
Oh my God.
Your reaction's correct. It makes you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you're gonna load that firearm, it's because you're ready to do work with it, whatever that might be. You can do a lot of great work dry fire, which requires 0 ammunition on purpose. And we take a lot of safety precautions to make sure that that's how that happens.
Right.
But when we're ready to load the firearm hot, that means we're going to do work with it.
Okay.
And it's now an extension of you. It's a part of you. It's either maintaining in
I like
your
it.
hands.
I like that way you put it. It's extension of you at that point.
Yeah, it's a part of what you're doing. You would never put down a loaded firearm and walk away.
Right. Yeah.
So if you wanted to do that, you'd need to take the magazine out, lock the slide open, and then put it down. So it's just inert.
Yes.
Okay? Keep the gas out of the tank until you're ready to go somewhere.
Until you're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then the fourth rule is no longer about you, the gun. It's now about the projectile. So the fourth rule is always be sure of your target and what lies beyond it. But that's only relevant if you understand why. And it's relevant because the fourth rule is about that little bullet and the world you're about to send it into. And everything it could touch in that line of travel between you and being absorbed by that backstop or berm or bullet trap. So you have to also close the loop on situational awareness and be very mindful of what's going on between you and your target, beyond your target, to the left and to the right of the target, because we don't want to create an unsafe environment.
Right.
And it's not always a foregone conclusion that it's going to be safe at the range when you think you're ready to shoot. The world can change. Things can change and shift. So always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction.
Safe direction.
Always keep your finger off the trigger.
Yeah, keep this little guy in check.
Exactly. Always keep the gun unloaded until you are ready to shoot the gun.
Yep.
And always be sure of your target and what lies beyond it and around it in its environment.
Okay.
Those are the 4 big ones.
Got it. Easy enough.
The 5th rule, This is a bigger piece because you are now a gun person. So you're going to have a firearm that you're going to bring home with you. You're going to travel to the range with you. The fifth rule is about kind of your chain of custody and your personal life habits with the gun. Always keep your firearm and ammunition stored separately and secured from unauthorized people. It needs to be inaccessible by unauthorized people. Now, I'm not talking about your concealed carry firearm. I'm talking about your range plinking guns. And until you're ready to take that next evolutionary step of keeping a loaded firearm as part of your daily lifestyle,
Yeah.
when you're in the learning process,
Yeah.
you have your firearm that is stored separately and locked up separately from your ammunition.
I was going to ask that. So what's the reasoning for that?
Good question. I have little kids.
Ah, yes.
So little kids are the low-hanging fruit. That's the easy one everybody understands. We
Yeah.
don't want the littles to stumble upon part A
Yeah.
and have easy access to part B, put them together, and things go boom. We cannot enable that or facilitate that.
Right.
Very, very scary stuff.
Yeah.
But beyond that, everybody thinks, well, my kids would never do that. But good kids can make bad choices. And as a parent, I will go out of my way to make sure I don't enable that
Yes.
life learning lesson.
Yes.
In addition to that, older kids' curiosity, right? House guests that just don't know.
Yeah.
Someone who assumes they know more than they probably do.
Right.
And want to show you what they think they know.
I know a couple people like that.
I think we all do. We all do. We don't want to help them.
Don't wanna-
No.
Right.
And then there's just theft. Break-ins, whatever. You just don't want to make it easy.
Right.
So it just literally separates part A from part B. You can sleep soundly at night knowing that they can't sprout legs and,
That makes so much sense.
create
Got
a
it.
problem, safety
Yeah.
problem. So those are the big five.
Okay.
Beyond that, it's range etiquette. And what are the big wrist slaps people get when they come to the range for the first time and get in trouble and you don't even know why? You go to the range to have a good experience.
Yeah.
You don't want to get kicked out for an unknown reason. So the big ones are, how do you behave in the environment that are going to prevent you from meeting the range safety officer the hard way?
The hard way, right?
They're always very well intentioned,
Yeah.
but they look like they're judging you because they are.
Yeah.
It's their job.
Yeah.
They've got to
definitely.
keep the venue and you and everyone else safe. So all in all, there are 5 big rules. How you act in the environment is the next step.
Okay.
Putting it all together, you've got to take that first bite, which is firearm safety. I think, do you have any questions?
No, I'm just ready to hear more.
I know, it's got a
great.
lot of good stuff in
Yeah.
it. Excellent.